Hello everyone, my name is Rob, and I'm going to go over the installation of my Nauticus Smart Tabs SX. Basically, I want to give a few short videos on what I go through during the installation and what I've already seen before installing that might help you install these on your boat. Right now I'm just going to give you a basic quick overview of the parts that I'm going to be using and the PR500 bracket assembly that I'm going to be using for my boat, which is an extra part to order, and you can get that through Nauticus or usually any place that you can buy the Smart Tabs. But I purchased mine through Amazon, both sets, the Smart Tabs and the PR500 bracket assembly. So let's take a look. Okay, basically we have the Smart Tabs here. I did choose to purchase the 3M adhesive sealant, but I did want the fast cure. I was almost going to walk out of the store with the other 3M adhesive sealant, but when I was looking on the packaging before I walked out, it said that it needed 7 days curing time. And since I want to take my boat out on Sunday, maybe do some salmon fishing, that was definitely out of the question. So this is the one that I chose to go with, and this has a 24-hour cure time. Basically, some of the things that I've chose to try and help me during my installation process have some carpenter's pencils here. I'm going to kind of use these to try and tape them underneath the boat to have kind of a flat surface that comes off of the boat, so I can maybe set my angles on my tabs. You don't need a center punch or a punch like this. However, when you come over here and look at these brackets, they have plastic pins that go through them, and they don't seem to really line up quite straight. It seems like either the bracket is just a little bit bent, or things don't kind of line up right, and they go through here really tight. You would think that it would be fairly loose so that it can freely move up and down, but it just doesn't seem to be that way. I've even thought of maybe just barely just drilling the holes out just a little bit, just to make sure that they move up and down freely. But for now, I basically had to kind of pound them through. And when I go to the assembly on the boat and show you some of the issues that I've seen already with these, you'll see why this would be a problem. I have a drill bit set, and really the only drill bit that I need is 7/32 for a fiberglass boat. This installation is going to be on my 2011 Q7i. And you can see the shocks here for the Smart Tabs. And this is the PR500 bracket assembly, and basically it's an assembly that goes on the top that supersedes these brackets that come with the Nauticus. The reason that I chose to go with the PR500 kit is that in case we want to do some wakeboarding, I want to be able to lift these tabs up and out of the water so it wouldn't impede the wake that we create when we're trying to wakeboard. So basically this kit will allow you to rotate this assembly up and move the shock and the plate up and out of the water, out of the way. So you can order this through Amazon. It's the plate retractor kit. I ordered both of them through Amazon. It was basically the cheapest I could find that also had this PR500 kit, because most of these stores, including iBoats, did not have this PR500 retractor kit, which is why I did not buy it through iBoats. But just the basic tools: hammer, screwdriver, and 9/16 wrench for the nuts here. So let's go over to the boat and I'll show you some of the problems that I found already. Okay, one of the things I did notice right off the bat is that on the back of this 2011 Q7i, there is a certain contour or beveled edge here. And in order to install these tabs, the way I thought, which would be the correct way, would have been to move everything over a little bit to the right of where the instructions state to put it. The instructions state you're supposed to measure from the edge of the chine 3 to 5 inches in, and then you would mark your tab. However, because of this contour, I decided to go to a more flatter side of the transom so that hopefully I could put this plate on and it would fit, it would sit flush up against it. So that was part of the first issue that I had when trying to install these tabs. Hey everyone, this is a post-installation video. I was going to try to video it throughout the installation process, however, running through all sorts of little issues and being a little too anal on how I put these on and where they were at and all of that. I was getting a little frustrated and irritated, so I didn't want to video that. So basically I'm just going to go over a little bit of how it looks on my boat and kind of a little bit of the mistakes that I've made along the way. You can see that this bracket right here is sitting nice and flush. Everything looks great. After I drilled the holes, one of the holes did have a little bit of water that seeped out, which kind of freaked me out. And so I thought, what's going on? And I did notice that after drilling the first hole that there is obviously wood behind it, and so I thought, great, so now I'm drilling through the transom, and it is not going to be able to be sealed from the other side, obviously, because I looked inside the boat last night and I thought, well, I could just seal up the back side of the screws, and that is not the case. So hopefully I did put enough of the sealant inside, and I hope that it does seal up. I might put a little bit of silicone around the bracket today, just to be extra safe about not putting any water inside the boat, which is an area that I don't believe would come out, because it seems like it's underneath the area where the pump is. So I did mention this bracket, and I tightened this bracket to make it pretty snug. This is the PR500, and basically all you do is you pull it down from here and lock it up on the top like that. And in my earlier video I did say that it lifts it up out of the water, and I really don't think that's the case, but you could see underneath how it does raise it pretty much flush with the bottom of the boat. So that shouldn't impede my wake when we're wakeboarding, and this is the main reason why I wanted this bracket. For those of you that obviously don't wakeboard, I don't think it'll be an issue. It's also used by other people to kind of keep it up and out of the way when they're trying to trailer, and with my trailer I don't need to worry about that. So putting the bracket back down, it's really, I have it pretty stiff so that it doesn't come loose while we're boating. And right now I'll lower the ladder and see how it is in relation to the smart tab. You can see there's still some room in between here, so I don't really have to worry about swimmers. For those of you that are worried about the ladder hitting the smart tabs, they don't. They're not anywhere close to it. So that was a good thing. So let's go over to the other side where my problem side was. For some reason it just seemed like this side it didn't seem like it was the same width as the other side, even though it was, and I measured it. The bracket didn't seem to fit. I measured basically from this edge right here over to the front side of the bracket, and the measurements were just a tad off from the other side, and I kept going back and forth, and finally I just got tired of doing it and marked it and drilled the holes The problem that I had was, after I drilled the holes and we're putting in the screws, you know, I was tired and aching from going through this for several hours. You could see that I was having a problem getting this bracket to sit flush, and part of it is because when I put this screw in, I didn't put it in quite as flush as I should have. I was debating on whether or not I should just remove the screw and try and put it back in at a different angle, and then I got worried that if I do that and it's already bit in a certain fashion, that it would kind of strip the hole out and I wouldn't be able to use the screw, and that would cause a multitude of problems with not only sealing the boat, but you know, it wouldn't work and I would have to re-drill it and put a bigger screw in, and I didn't want to do that. So basically what I think I'm going to do is put some silicone in here and try and seal it off as much as I possibly can, and try not to make it look so horrible. Try and use some clear silicone. One of the things that I also found is that putting these pins in, they are pretty snug, and in my other video I did show that I had a 9/16 wrench that I was going to use for these, and according to the directions they say that they should just be on finger tight or hand tight. So basically all I did was put them on hand tight with my fingers as much as possible, and it looks like everything should be okay. I can push up on the shock and it does fall down like it should. And after watching, or actually reading some of the other comments on the angle of the boat, thanks to some of you guys that mentioned that we make a jig for setting the correct angle. So it looks like it's pretty good. I think it's right at 25-degree angle, so hopefully that will be okay. We'll be taking it out tomorrow and I'll let you guys know how everything went.